We're giving 5 NFL props for week 5. Let's roll. Jonathan Taylor, over 88.5 rush yards. This dude's been on an absolute heater. Offensive Player of the Year frontrunner for a reason. Was about to have another Hundy piece, but Adonai Mitchell just decided he took the under on JT last week. But 88.5 rush yards against the Raiders' run defense has honestly been pretty good overall. You know, look, there are just some guys where I don't care what the matchup is, they are a matchup beater. And, you know, while the Raiders have been really good against the run overall, they're not really facing many backs of Jonathan Taylor's caliber, especially with the way the Colts have been just imposing their will. Sometimes I like to use what the projected spread is to my advantage. Like, hey, if Indianapolis is a 6.5 point favorite at home, that means they should be playing with a lead. Therefore, there could be a lot of opportunities for JT, especially in the second half. But this guy is explosive run after explosive run. So even though Vegas on paper is matching up well against opposing backs, I think JT 88.5 yards is something I'm going to be looking at for the over, despite it being a high total. He's always a candidate for a Hundy piece or more. Next up, Brian Thomas Jr., 59.5 receiving yards to the under. If you watched my video last week, the Shane Waldron curse seems to be real. Brian Thomas Jr. is not getting the involvement after an explosive rookie season last year. Trevor Lawrence is not looking for him nearly as much. I don't really understand what's going on here. Like I said last week, until we start seeing that turnaround, I think we got to keep riding the BTJ under train. They're going against Kansas City at home on Monday night. I feel like Kansas City is going to be able to take away a lot of what Jacksonville does well. Steve Spagnuolo's defense is able to put star players on opposing offenses in a blender a lot of the time. So let's keep running with the under for Brian Thomas Jr. until we see otherwise. Justin Fields, over 47.5 rush yards. We saw him take one of the house on a really cool play on Monday night against Miami. This is a high total, especially for a quarterback, but I feel like the way the Jets are, this is part of who they are on offense. They're going to run the ball a lot, and it's going to be Justin Fields carrying a healthy amount of touches here. So against a Dallas defense that I think just does not have the athleticism to keep up with the Justin Fields or contain the Breece Hall or Braylon Allen, QB Reed, Fields is a candidate to be a 60 rush yard guy this week. I feel like Dallas against the Jets, we don't know what we're going to see, but what we do know is the Dallas defense has a lot of holes in it. And I think while Justin Fields might be able to have success through the air, it's going to turn into some scrambling opportunities or even some design runs. So despite the high number, I'm going to go with Fields on the over. If you enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button, because right now, RotoWire is going to give you 15% off of any product on RotoWire.com. That, of course, includes our fantasy football rankings updated weekly, our monster behemoth tool on RotoWire, my team instituted for this year for fantasy and betting, that comes with odds for not just games, but futures, prop picker tools, all the different kinds of props, and it's all on one screen. No more odds hopping around, going on 5-6 different books to get the best of the number. It's all on one shot right there for you. And of course, you got access to our experts for those tough Sunday morning start sit decisions. Use code YouTube15 at checkout. Back to it. Let's go with Emeka Egbuka, the standout rookie, over 62.5 receiving yards. I mean, this dude's unbelievable. Emeka Egbuka, I mean, we're on him week 1 against Atlanta. I love this dude. Fantasy steal for a reason, was climbing up draft boards the last few weeks heading into the season, and now we know why. Baker Mayfield is gravitating towards this guy, even with Mike Evans on the field. But without Mike Evans, he put up a huge number last week against the Philadelphia Eagles, thanks to a monster 70-yard tutty. But it's more than that. This dude's getting involvement. Yeah, Chris Godwin's back. It's going to help take away some of the attention. But now, even at Seattle's got a good defense, but I still don't know if their secondary is going to be able to contain what Egbuka does. The real question is, what does the offensive line look like? Will Baker have time to throw? I think ultimately Baker's going to have to throw a decent amount in order for them to have a chance to win. And with Chris Godwin taking enough attention away and no Bucky Irving potentially, Egbuka is a guy that is primed for a 10-plus target day, and he's a very explosive weapon. So let's go with his over I think we got to keep going with his over, because pretty soon his numbers are going to be being set closer to the 80s at this rate. Let's wrap it up here in that same game. Let's go back to my guy Jaxon, over 6.5 catches. He got jobbed a few weeks ago against New Orleans. He finished 1 catch short because it was a 40-point margin at the time. He was bad in the flu game, basically sat out the whole fourth quarter. And then last week, he didn't really start getting targeted until the fourth quarter. So he finished short here, but 7 catches is primed for this one. I feel like Tampa's run defense is going to be able to clog up enough against Kenneth Walker and Zach Charbonnet. So Sam Darnold might have to do a little bit more throwing in this one. And quite frankly, there's just not many corners that are going to be able to handle JSN. This is a target hog. This is a reception PPR machine. So I feel like we're primed to see one of those signature 10-catch JSN games. This one could end up being a little bit higher scoring than we'd think as well. So I'm rolling with the Jackson Smith-Njigba experience for a breakout game.